All the missions in the name of the king were ways of crushing his enemies to keep himself in power. Welcome to the Twisted Pint Tavern. Today we're visiting r/D&D to check out the answers to D&D players of Reddit, tell me about your plot twists in your stories. The world isn't real. It's nothing but a story written by cruel beings. Now that this illusion has been shattered, will the players go off and restore order to follow the script, continuing their old comfortable way of life? Will they break free of its hold and create their own uncertain future, or will they succumb to self-doubt and realize the futility of it all, driven mad by the whispers of maddened gods? And then this reply, how did they decide? With pills? Then OP says, I haven't decided on what to do yet, campaign's still going on. I have done the red pill blue pill reference before, but it just made me feel old when no one understood the reference when they were told to not accept red or blue pills from strangers in trench coats. Do people not get Matrix references? Am I that old? I don't think I'm that old. All the missions in the name of the king were ways of crushing his enemies to keep himself in power. We were the king's assassin/goon squad. The good old evil king has you doing his bidding, but you don't know he's evil card. I like that one, especially because it usually means that the BBEG at the end of the game is the very person who you've spent the entire campaign empowering. You know the one guard always lies, one always tells the truth thing? Well, I did it with a two-headed dog. Turns out they just lie whenever they want and enjoy messing with adventurers. I mean, look, I get that would thoroughly mess with the players, but I wonder how long it would go before they realize that something's up if they're both just lying whenever they want. Like, I get that it could be fun, but I could also see like 2.5 hours dumped into asking these things questions before someone's finally like, screw it, I kill the dog. The phylactery of a lich being a ribcage of a 6-month-old son of the good and kind emperor. Also, the big bad evil red dragon being the owner of the biggest chain of banks in the world, and killing him would cause a Great Depression which would have killed thousands more people than just letting him murder a village every once in a while. And this reply, I always love the this will greatly affect the economy villain. I mean, how do you handle an economy villain? Like, yeah, if they're evil, they should go down, but that's true. If it's gonna kill thousands of people, as opposed to just a village every once in a while, I mean, it's kinda like sucks to choose one, but sucks to choose the other. Now I'm wondering though, what are your biggest plot twists? They sure do make a hell of a story back in the Twisted Pint Tavern Discord server, so go ahead and join us by clicking the link in the description. We're gonna be renovating the tavern, as in adding a lot of new features very, very soon. My players are currently fighting in a holy war, but they just lost all motivation once they found out the cause of the war was because a god cheated on his wife. So Greek mythology? Greek mythology, I'm pretty sure that's Greek mythology. The villain of the campaign wasn't a living creature or anything, but the result of a wish spell gone awry. She didn't have internal or consistent motivations. They were basically fighting ChatGPT and they didn't realize it. They were undead, so I got to use the philosophical zombie pun. After that, the 4 people they ended up making enemies with then turned into the real antagonists when they all individually rushed in to take advantage of the power vacuum and fought the heroes one-on-one in the final session. So I don't really like a ton of politics in my D&D games, but I do think it's a cool dynamic when the BBEG isn't actually the final BBEG, because by taking them out, you leave a huge void that can then be filled by other people. So you could take someone out and then end up having 3 other people starting an even bigger war over who now gets the throne. I did a one-shot where the players were sent to investigate the disappearance of someone the Lord was talking about for an important trade opportunity. A clergyman named Albo. The paladin would receive visions of what looked like Albo being taken and his parishioners all slaughtered in the process. They discovered a plot to release a creature of great evil into the world, an ancient aboleth. At the very end, thinking the mastermind the whole time was the mayor, who was in a cannibalistic cult, they discovered the mayor killed and the true villain was Albo, who actually sacrificed his parishioners in honor of the ancient evil. The only hint was Albo's full name if they could put it together, and his full name was Alboeth, as in aboleth. You know, I like that. I like the twist there, but the name pun, I'm gonna have to dock you a couple points. In a Ravenloft campaign I ran back in 2nd edition, the players received a cryptic bit of advice from a young Vistani seer. The little girl told them that to find new life, you must seek the grave. For months they wondered what that could be about when they already had the pieces. Prior to this point, they had many visions of themselves where they would be in the same location they currently stood, but were dressed differently and the location seemed slightly changed. They figured out that they've lived before, at least 2 times before, and for whatever reason, they keep dying and coming back with only flashes of past memories. The little girl was telling them to find and dig up their own graves, to recover items from their past lives to give them better odds of surviving this time. The look when they figured it out was memorable. I love that. I like that a lot. It actually plays really well into the Ravenloft concept of like reincarnation, because the whole vibe, maybe slight spoilers, is that when you die in Ravenloft, or specifically Strahd's domain, you don't actually go to your afterlife. Your soul basically just gets recycled and put into somebody else. So that I like that. I think that's really cool. I was doing a one-on-one with my friend who DMs, and my character became friends with the king of the sky city we were in, King Andreas. I'm pretty sure he was based off of someone in Amphibia. Anyways, a couple more friends wanted to play, so I made a new character and the group started to play in the same world as the one-on-one. Both the character in the one-on-one and the character in the campaign were elf monks. So I said, hey, why not make them cousins? We got to about 7th level in the campaign when we found out that King Andreas was the main BBEG. My one-on-one character got an offer from the king to work for him and is completely clueless about the king being evil. He gets hired to track down the party and ends up kidnapping one of the PCs. The entire table was flabbergasted and I was so into it. So you had a one-on-one character that not only turned out to be the BBEG, but I'm guessing he already had a different relationship with the party or something, and that's why they were so flabbergasted. I think that's a cool twist. When our party found the bloated dead body of a local politician who they'd been speaking to the night before, and realized that whoever we'd been talking to was a shape-shifting imposter. Ah, doppelgangers. Whenever you're in doubt of what to do for a plot twist, just use doppelgangers. It's good old fun. My session 1 of this campaign began in a tavern, because of course it did, with a birdman crashing into the bar and everything goes silent. Really though, he was just very drunk and on a bachelor party. The drunken birds entered the tavern to buy rounds for everyone. I let on that this is a wild and rowdy bunch and that they only want to see everyone get wasted. As the party goes on, I've been gradually lowering the ambient noise and music to the point where it was silent when I stopped talking. Then, I put on some creaking wood noises. You're in a wooden room, in a pile. You all awaken groggy. I'd poisoned the drinks and shanghaied them, shipping them off to the island where my campaign takes place. They thought they'd be getting the cliched, the hooded traveler beckons you over, and I managed to surprise them right off the bat. If you can get an opening surprise, a plot twist in your opening sequence, then that's a pretty good plot twist to me. But hey, whoa, what's with the dig at starting your game in a tavern? I mean, come on man, I might be biased, but I think it's pretty cool. Now for my own story, and it's a bit of a long one, I honestly don't see it as that big of a plot twist, but man did it get some attention at the table. I had just formed a group at a local game store and had the party hired by the mayor of a village to track down and slay some orcs and goblins who were raiding a village for food and money about once every couple of weeks. They'd come in and take a bunch of the recent harvests, pressure the townsfolk out of their coin, etc. The town didn't do anything about it because the orcs and goblins seemed to be incredibly skilled fighters, using fighting techniques and group tactics that typical raiding parties don't know. That, and they had a couple of ogres with them to haul the loot and smash anyone who resisted. Well, at one point, the party killed a few of the raiders, and when they looted their bodies, they found plain brass rings that glowed with detect magic. Upon removing them from the slain orcs and goblins, they transformed into humans. The party put the rings on, and surprise, they turned into orcs and goblins. Cut ahead to the caves where the raiders were hiding out, and they realize it's very well outfitted. Properly installed doors, lighting, etc. And each and every raider had a ring that, when removed, revealed them to be human. The party thought it could just be bandits trying to pose as orcs and such so that they wouldn't get caught, but then they started finding odd papers. They found reports detailing every single stolen coin as well as sales reports from selling off the grain and such. Plus, each report had an automatic 25% marked off simply as boss's cut. Cut to the end of the dungeon, and they found that the only creatures that weren't actually humans were the ogres, who were just helping out because they were being given food and luxuries. At the back end was a door that was inscribed with, "Don't come to me, I'll come to you." The party opened it, saw a flash of magic, went through, and appeared in the mayor's private quarters, where they saw the very man that had hired them quickly packing up his bags with his own citizens' stolen money. Upon interrogating him, they learned that he'd hired the party to go wipe out a large number of the raiders, as they'd started talking about kicking him out of the deal as they no longer needed him. He wanted to send them a message saying, "I can replace you whenever I want to," hoping the party would end up dying halfway through due to sheer outnumbering. As soon as he'd heard the sounds of combat coming from the magic door, he knew it had gone too far, and he only had a few moments to pack up and go. The party opted to let him live. Well, I mean, they tossed him and all the stolen gold into the streets in front of the townsfolk, then rode away on horses, ignoring the sounds of slaughter behind them, but that means it was really the townsfolk who decided to kill the mayor. This sticks out so much in my memory because when the big reveal happened, the two randoms from the game store looked at each other, connected the pieces, and both stood up clapping. It was my first and last standing ovation as a DM, and while I don't think it was that crazy, the event definitely sticks out in my mind. And that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and go down into the comments and let me know what the best plot twists are in games that you've either run or played in. Also, don't forget to join the Twisted Pint Tavern Discord server where you can also share more of your stories as well as talk to other people about D&D, get advice for the games you're running, and more. The link to that is in the description, and you get a free tavern menu to put in your games if you join. But anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. Thank you guys again, and I hope to see all of you wonderful folk in the next video. Plot twist, the video's not over! Okay, now the video's over. Goodbye.